Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Dr. Brandon, Chronicles of Widow Pastor. Just want to do this video, guys. Something that I didn't talk about in some of my previous videos. And I know I've been off for a while, but I'm back. Hopefully I can do more content on this channel. But I want to talk about exactly how life was in the initial, when my wife first passed, the way I just started thinking about that. I said, I never did a video on that. I talked about the day she died. I talked about how she died. I talked about, my journey since, but I didn't talk about what happened when it first happened. There was a lot of tough decisions that had to be made right after, and the subsequently happened, like right after she died. And my heart goes out to anybody, whoever loses a loved one, loses someone really close to them that dies. Whether it's you lose your child, you lose your spouse, like me, whether you lose a parent, it's that after the initials, you really don't have a chance to really grieve at first. And at first, when it first happened, it's like I was like, man, I'm doing a lot better than I think I should be doing. I was enjoying that, because God knows I didn't want to be running boo-hooing and crying, but I remember feeling like, man, I probably should be grieving more than I am. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt for sure, sure enough, it was God, was keeping me through that. But my thought process is, why am I not crying more? I should be a little sadder than I am. And initially, I think my adrenaline was just flowing, was just pumping so hard, because, I was in survival mode. I had to figure out, what to do with, as far as like handling all the business behind her dying, all the possessions and bills and trying to figure it out, and all those things. Yeah, I ended up letting the car go back to the finance company and then let them figure out what they were going to do with it. My name wasn't on that note, so it just kind of helped with that, made that go easier. Just so much stuff that I had to handle on the business end. And then, you have to deal with the fact that, when she passed, her children had to find places for them to go to where, with their paternal grandparents and their families, and, just trying to figure out how to make that whole thing work. And then, the kids who already had, like, if y'all, from some of my previous videos, they already had, behavior issues and, things, special needs and, things with just rebellion and different things like that. And I had to figure out a beard, it itches when it's coming in. I had to deal with that whole, dynamic of, trying to make that whole thing work and figuring out, they were some of them, they were still living with me, and then just that whole thing. And, it was just a lot to have to navigate through the first 4 months. Then once the kids left, that's when I started to really feel the grief. It got real heavy right there. And then I invited a friend to live with me for a little while. They were transitioning and, going, trying to do some other things. They wanted to move to my area, and then I had a big falling out with them over just the enemy, just some misunderstanding and just some craziness. And, and then that just, the fallout with that person made things really hard for me then, because it was like, I already was grieving, and then that happens, and it just was too much, too soon, just a lot going on. That's what I tell people. When you lose somebody like that, it's not always a good idea. You don't want to live alone. I get it. The best thing to do is move out. I was trying to, the situation where I was going to lease that to them, or, they were going to just go, because we were leasing to buy, and then I ended up not buying because, my wife had passed. I just wanted to get out of the house. And the guy who owned the house was going to sell it to us. He ended up working with the person who, was trying to buy it from him, where, would turn it over to that person, and they would lease it from them, or either sublease it from me, and just to make a long story short, it didn't work out. Just over something that had nothing to do with that, but that whole situation was just, just another thing that piled on, and then all the financial problems I was having, and like bills were coming due and stuff was late, and just always just a plethora of financial problems, just having to deal with all of that, owing this person, owing that person. Some damage was done to the house, and then the landlord came after me because, I was only living adult, just like, some stuff the kids had ruined in the house. And it just was a lot. And then, so, the loss of her, and then all the other things that were attached to that just made it so hard. And it just became just overbearingly, just rough, just a whole situation that just was like not good. It was tough. And so that, and it just was, it was hard, it was hard because it was so much to process. I ended up moving back home with my parents after being gone for years. And, my parents are not well. They're dealing with some health issues. I'm here helping them. It just was just the whole dynamic. Y'all saw me when I first started this channel. I was still living in the house. Y'all saw those videos, and then when I was moving out, I did some content on that, and it was hard. Eventually the grief got to be really hard. Eventually, I had to put myself back in counseling again, grief counseling, and I could not encourage more that have you lost someone close to you, get counseling. I talk about that on my Facebook page. If you're a pastor, get counseling. You don't know everything. You don't have all the answers. You can't figure it out all on your own. Yes, you need God, but you also need some professional counseling. Some people who God has anointed to be professional. God can help you through other people, trained professionals. Camera fell over. So please, 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 get some help. Help yourself. Give yourself a chance to grieve. Don't blame yourself. When someone dies close to you with nothing you could have done. Take your time, grieve, let yourself walk through the process. And that's what I've allowed myself to do. But I got some other content, some new life updates, some things I want to talk about. But thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate it. This is Pastor Brandon. Once again, Chronicles of a Widow Pastor. Bless you.